Shalom, shalom, shalom. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, which is to say in the Paleo Hebrew, Yahweh, which is the name of our Heavenly Father, meaning He is, Bahashim, which means in the name, Yahweh Shai, which means He is our salvation. And that is who the world ignorantly calls God, the Heavenly Father, and Jesus, His only begotten Son, who, by the way, only came for the Israelites. All right. Now, tonight's topic is we're going to need help very soon, and only the elect will receive it. All right. We're going to need help very soon. And by help, I'm speaking of divine intervention, all right? Because this devil is getting ready to roll, and your guns, your ammo, whatever you think you got is not going to be sufficient enough to stop him, all right? Only the power of Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai will get the job done. And only the elect of Israel, Yasharallah, the prince of the power, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, alongside the speckled birds that looked like the other nations, but through the patrilineal lineage go back to the Hebrew Israelites, will receive that aid, that help, that assistance, all right? And we're going to need it because this devil is ramping up his army, his militia, all right? His door-to-door, okay? And this is what we're coming up against, all right? And if the Lord isn't dealing with you, he's going to allow you to be, he's going to allow you to be ran through, okay? If the Lord isn't dealing with you, once he allowed Esau, Edom, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, to truly show his horns, he's going to allow him to run straight through you, all right? So if you ain't right, and if you ain't getting right, while there's still time, the Lord is going to allow this man, when he makes that move, to come in and get you, round you up, take you to these detention centers. What they do in there, hey, it's up to your imagination, all right? It's really up to your imagination, all right? Women, they going to have their way with you. Men, who know what they going to do with you, all right? But the thing of it is, we don't want to have to worry about that because we're doing the best that we can now in this time that's allotted to us. And we're going to need that help from on high when this devil comes in like a flood, which we already seeing the beginning stages of him coming in now, all right? He's going to easily flip the switch just like that, and all hell's going to break loose, all right? All hell's going to break loose. And either you're going to be protected and covered through the blood of Yahweh Shai, or you're going to be ass out, butt naked, free falling, all right, into the hands of this devil, okay? And who knows in what way or form aid or assistance is going to look like, all right? All we know is that the Lord will have our back and we of the elect. Now, I want to open up with this verse in the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse 2 is the point, all right? Because we have to be very mindful of strangers, all right? Because the Lord can send a stranger to entertain us for information, for guidance, for direction, and we cannot just wave them off. We have to be very intuitive to the Spirit, all right? This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 13, and verse 2. It says, be not forgetful to entertain strangers. See? So the Lord is giving us instructions, all right? Because when all hell breaks loose, we don't know in what form of guidance or assistance that the Lord is going to send for us to receive, all right? It may be a chariot. It may be a stranger, okay? It may be some type of miracle, all right? But we have to be very in tune and know that because we're doing what's required and asked of us now in these times, that when all hell breaks loose and everybody is losing their minds and running around like a chicken with their head cut off, that the Lord is going to take care of his elect, all right? So it says, be not forgetful, Hebrews 13:2, to entertain strangers. Let's look up that word entertain, all right? It's the Greek word. It's the Greek word philoxeny. Let me say it. Let me have him say it again so you can hear it.
5381. Philoxenia.
Now, when you go into that root word, it goes into hospitable, generous to guests, okay? It goes into love to strangers, hospitality. So how you conduct yourself, because you may look at what you perceive to be a stranger as an Edomite or a heathen, but guess what? They could actually be an Israelite or even a true in the sense of a spiritual angel, all right? So be not mindful or be not forgetful to entertain or to show hospitality to who you think may just be some other regular person, all right? Because it could be that the Lord sent that individual to direct your path and to guide you to your next phase or through your next steps, all right? So we have to be very mindful. So let's read that again. Hebrews 13 and verse 2. Be not forgetful to entertain, show hospitality. Don't be so willing to wave someone off just because their outward appearance, all right? Because, a lot of people are going to get jammed up because they thinking that every Edomite, or should I say every so-called white person is an Edomite, or every so-called Chinese person is a Moabite. That's why you have to be what? Willing to try the spirit, all right? And we try the spirit through the word, okay? Because you never know who's going to be that stranger or that individual that's going to give you a lending hand that may be designed or may be, what's the word I'm looking for? That may be directed to giving you food or what have you, all right? Because the Lord can put the spirit on anyone, all right? So be not forgetful. It says, for thereby some have entertained angels unawares. See? So you never know, all right? That person you saw in the grocery store on aisle 6 who had a peculiar look about him and asked you a question, hey, that reminds me of that same scenario happened to me, all right? Some guy was asking me about some food in the grocery store, and, you know, he had a peculiar look about him. And he asked me about something about some plantains or something like that. Was I going to eat something like that because he couldn't eat meat or something like that? And, you know, I kind of knew something was up with him, but not really. But he had a strange look about him, all right? And he could have very much well been an angel, all right? A messenger. Or let's look up that word angels.
Strong's G32, angelos.
It goes into a messenger, envoy, one who was sent, an angel, a messenger from the Most High, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. So we cannot be forgetful to entertain strangers, especially when all hell breaks loose, okay? because you never know, all right, who is and who isn't. But see, this is why we're doing what we're doing now. So when all hell breaks loose, we won't have no doubt that the Lord is going to direct our paths, all right? See, we don't want to leave no rock unturned right now for when all hell breaks loose that we're going to make a decision that we shouldn't make. No, we're doing everything that's required and asked of us now to the best of our ability. So once the inevitable happen, that we will be taken care of and the Lord will indeed direct our paths. And when you have the confidence, the utmost degree to know that the Lord is going to direct your path, hey man, that lets you sleep a lot more better at night. All right, knowing that when all hell breaks loose, when this devil rolls in, when he actually shows, because he's already showing his horns right now, he's bearing them, but soon he's going to show them all. And when he does, it's good to know. Matter of fact, it's great, wonderful, awesome to know that you have a power that's fighting on your behalf, knowing that if you are the elect, to direct your paths and everything that you do is going to be prosper. All right. So we don't care about how prosper we are right now, because this shit doesn't matter. All right. What we want to be prosper in is when all hell breaks loose, when we knee deep in Jacob's trouble. All right. When we ain't got no way to get out of here, the enemy is pursuing us. You know, food is running low, water is running low. We don't know where we gonna sleep at tonight. We want to have confidence in knowing that the Lord is going to prepare and has prepared for us just that, and just for that scenario, a solution. All right, because we gonna need help. All right, and only the elect will receive it. All right, now let's read this in another translation, Hebrews 13:2. In a different translation. This is Hebrews 13:2 in the CSB, Christian Standard Bible, if I'm not mistaken. It says, don't neglect to show hospitality, for by doing this, some have welcomed angels as guests without knowing it. See? In that day, it's going to be imperative that you remember these scriptures and have them inside you, so when you come across a stranger, don't be so quick to brush them off, okay? Especially if you try in the spirit and they're jiving with what you're saying according to the word, okay? It's a good chance that that stranger, as we're going to talk about it a little bit more, could be sent from heaven, okay? A messenger of the Most High, Yahweh. Okay, so it says, don't neglect to show hospitality, for by doing this, some have welcomed angels as guests without knowing it. See, and that's why we have to be very mindful, okay, because the Lord puts certain people in our life for certain purposes, okay, and we're going to be very in tune, Lord willing, to these things once they come to play in the time of Jacob's trouble. All right. When we on the run, when we on the move, all right, when we moving from place to place, okay, we may not be able to sit still for a night or two or a week. All right. So we have to have the utmost confidence in that what we're doing now is going to reap the benefits, especially in that time of Jacob's trouble. All right. Now this is Tobit. Let's go to Tobit chapter 4, and let's start at verses 18. This is Tobit 4 and 18, okay? Because everything we're doing is serving a purpose, all right? Whether you know it or not, everything that we're doing now in this time of mercy and grace is serving a purpose for later. This is the book of Tobit, chapter 4, and verse 18. It reads, ask counsel of all that are wise, and despise not any counsel that is profitable. See? And the Lord has set up men that have done the work for decades to give that counsel. all right? As it says in Jeremiah 3:15, I will give you pastors that shall feed you according to my heart, all right? Because why? The Lord doesn't want us out there suffering, okay? If we of the elect, but we're going to have to go through everything else that everybody else is going through, except for we're going to have a mediator on our behalf, Yahweh Shai, that's going to send our prayers up to be heard to the Father, Yahweh. All right? So we are on another level than everybody else, okay? The elect of Israel. Verse 19, it says, bless the Lord, thy power always, okay? And this is what we do continuously, all right? We have the Lord on our mind daily, all right? Tobit 4:19, bless the Lord, thy power always, and desire of him that thy ways may be directed. See? So this is what we're desiring, all right? That we need help, okay? We see the signs that we're close to this society collapsing, all right? So it says, in desire of him. What is Isaiah 55 and verse 6 says? Seek ye Yahweh while he may be found. All right? You're supposed to be desiring of him now. Not when all hell breaks loose, then you want to desire of him. No. You're supposed to be desiring of him now while he may be found. All right? Through his servants, the prophets. All right? You better get this knowledge, information, and understanding while you can, because that's what's going to keep you stable once all hell breaks loose. So it says, in desire of him that thy ways may be directed. See? And this is what we're desiring of, all right? We're desiring that the Lord direct our ways, all right? Because people, you know, they got that proud spirit that they think they're going to have months on end of food stored up. They think they're going to have ammo put away for when people come looting and stuff like that. But they don't know how shit's going to happen when it goes down, all right? See, but the Lord, hey, he knows everything, all right? He knows he knows who's his and who isn't, all right? And if you're not of the elect, you can have all the food in the world, the ammo, clothes, and everything. But if the Lord ain't dealing with you, it's all in vain, all right? So it says, in desire of him that thy ways may be directed, in Tobit 4:19, and that all thy paths and counsels may prosper. See? We want to actually be the beneficiary of what we read pertaining to salvation during this time of Jacob's trouble. We want to be the ones that Isaiah 65:13 reflects on when it says, my servant shall eat, my servant shall drink, my servant shall have glory. All right? We don't want to be on the other end of that spectrum where it says, you who are not my servants are going to thirst, are going to hunger, are going to be shamed. All right? We want to be the receiving end that's going to receive those benefits of having food, having drinks, you know, having shelter, having glory, man. While everyone else is bugging out, we want to be on the Lord's good side, receiving all his mercy and benefits during that time, okay? So this is why we're making our calling and election sure, all right? So it says, Tobit 4:19, and that all thy paths and counsels may prosper. For every nation have not counsel, but the Lord himself giveth all good things, and he humbleth whom he will, as he will. Now therefore, my son, remember my commandments, neither let them be put out of thy mind. See? And this is why these Christians, these you know, chaotic, crazy Christians, they don't want to keep the commandments, man, because they don't have faith. They don't believe, all right? They only sell that hoopla to someone that don't know any better, all right? But see, those of us that have faith, we know that trying to keep the commandments to the best of our abilities is what shows our willingness to serve the Lord to the best of our ability. All right. Rehearse the righteous acts. Judges 5 and 11. All right. So we got to make the most of this. All right. Now, what brought me to this lesson is that I did it a few days ago, and I was reading the book of Tobit, and Tobias which is Tobit's son, he went on a journey to collect the debt for his father. And in doing so, he was led by an angel named Raphael. Okay. So let's go there. Tobit 12, I believe. Tobit 12 and let's see. Tobit 12 and verse 9. It reads, "For alms doeth deliver from death, and shall purge away all sin. Those that exercise alms and righteousness." See, they go hand in hand. You can't just give alms and be wicked. You have to be righteous. It says, those that exercise alms and righteousness shall be filled with life. But they that sin are enemies to their own life. See? So here it is. You got, the wherewithal, because the Lord has set up counsel. He's giving you men that's giving you knowledge according to his heart. That's telling you what to do, leading up into these days, into these times. You see? Now, if you don't take heed, you don't have no one to blame but yourself. So it says, but they that sin are enemies to their own life. Right? See? Oh no, I don't have. I could eat that slab of ribs, that pork ribs. I can do. See, you misunderstanding mercy and grace with free will. The Lord is giving us mercy and grace. You don't have free will to sin. All right. And the fact that that's the mindset of our people shows you that 2/3 of our people here in America is going to be what? Cut off and die. It says, verse 11, Tobit 12 and 11. "Surely I will keep close nothing from you, for I said it was good to keep close the secret of a king, but that it was honorable to reveal the works of the Most High." Verse 12, Tobit 12 and 12. "Now therefore, when thou didst pray, and Sarah thy daughter-in-law, I did bring the remembrance of your prayers before the Holy One. And when thou didst bury the dead, I was with thee likewise." Verse 13, "And when thou didst not delay to rise up and leave thy dinner to go and cover the dead, thy good deed was not hid from me, but I was with thee. And now the Most High have sent me to heal thee and Sarah, thy daughter-in-law." Right? Because Tobias' father, Tobit, he was going blind. Okay? And Sarah, Tobias' wife, had 7 husbands that all were unalive by the demon that had possessed her. All right? And Tobias was a close kin, and Sarah was preserved for him to marry via by the way of the angel Raphael, telling him that the fish that tried to swallow him up to take out his liver and gall, and I believe that was something else, or that might have been it, and to use it as a smoke to ward off that demon so that he could go into Sarah and marry her, all right? Because she had 7 other husbands, all right? And I did a previous video that I had to correct, and I said that they went inside her, but no, they did not go into her. They went into her chamber, but they didn't go into her, meaning to have intercourse, all right? Because the demon took him out. But Tobias, guided by the angel Raphael, had the smoke to ward off the demon so that he could take Sarah, all right? Which would be Tobit's daughter-in-law. So it says, "Now therefore, when thou didst pray, and Sarah thy daughter-in-law, I did bring the remembrance of your prayers before the Holy One. And when thou didst bury the dead, I was with thee likewise. Verse 13. And when thou didst not delay to rise up and leave thy dinner, to go and cover the dead, thy good deed was not hid from me, but I was with thee. Verse 14. And now the Most High have sent me to heal thee and Sarah, thy daughter-in-law. Now check this out. This is verse 15. I am Raphael, one of the 7 holy angels, which present the prayers of the saints, which are the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, and which go in and out before the glory of the Holy One. See? So this is why we cannot be be forgetful to entertain strangers, all right? Because we don't know who we entertaining, all right? We don't know who we are talking to, who we are coming across. And just imagine you being rude to a messenger of the Most High, man, who's sent to give you good news or who's sent to direct you, all right? See, that's why the elect is going to be in tune during Jacob's trouble. That's why the elect is going to have that clear mind. Because why? They're going to be stable. Because why? They have this truth. Wisdom, knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. All right? See? When everyone else is flipping out and they don't have no way to turn or nowhere to turn to because they squander, especially if they're Israelite, their time to come close to the Lord right now, that when all hell breaks loose, he's not going to keep them. As it says in Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept my word in patience, I will also keep thee during the hour of temptation. They're going to be out here lost, all right? Get ready to take the microchip because they have no other solution, all right? The Lord isn't showing them favor. The Lord isn't putting them in the path or directing their ways to come across anything that could be beneficial, and they're going to be left to their own devices, all right? And that's right where Satan wants them. Satan wants them left to their own devices to make their own decisions to be destroyed. All right? And this is why we need help. Okay? And only the elect will receive that. Lord willing, we of that number. All right? Lord willing, what we doing won't go uncalled or unheard of. Lord willing, the Lord is going to hear our prayers in that time. All right? Because this is it, man. All right? The devil is getting ready to roll in. All right? Come in like a flood. He's going to kick a lot of us out of our houses, as it says in 2 Ezra 16. All right? He's going to come in like a madman, sparing none, still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, which is the Israelites. All right? Taking them out their houses. We already seeing signs of him going door to door, taking out people that, are citizens, okay? And ICE is a new one. It's another one, the ERO, and a lot of more militia groups are forming because they are waiting, to really get this race war, this civil war, and everything else in here in America jump off, all right? These elections these midterm elections could potentially, possibly spell the end of America as we know it, all right? And that's supposed to be in November, all right? So we're going to see, all right? This very well could be a pivotal year when everything turns for the worse, Lord willing, okay? Lord willing, all right? That this year is pivotal in the sense that it's that turning point for America, because this is also its 250th year, all right? This July 4th, all right? I believe it's bicentennial, all right? America would have been established for 250 years, all right? And that's about the time of an empire's reign, all right? So, hey, get ready, all right? Lord willing, he's going to shake America up, man, to the point where, hey, it's going to be very noticeable who the elect is and who isn't, all right? Who the Lord is dealing with and who he isn't dealing with, all right? So we just got to stay strong and endure a little bit longer, all right? The Lord is on the way, all All right. He's getting ready to send Yahushua, Lord willing, Abaratazar. All right. So back to the lesson, which is, let's see if we can get that. In 1 second, we get ready to close out. What's the name of the lesson? We're going to need help very soon, and only the elect will receive it. See? So that's going to be the end of this lesson. Let's go ahead and close out 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. This is the book of 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 8. All right? It reads, be sober, be vigilant. Why? Because your adversary, the devil, that same one that's showing his horns, that's bearing them, but he's showing them, but he's going to fully show them shortly. That same one. It says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour. Right? See? And if we ain't in good standings with the Lord, when he makes that move, trust and believe, he's going to devour a lot of our people here in America. All right? A lot of our people, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to get ran through, man. All right? You women, you rebellious ass Israelites that like to mock and make fun, guess what? The Lord got your number, man. All right? And when he called you up and he got your judgment, wait, just specifically for you, you're going to wish you had took that time and listened and repented while you had time. All right, because it's going to be too late to desire for him at that time. All right, that's why you got to desire him now. Seek him now while he may be found. All right, because in a little bit, he's going to shut this thing up. The doors of mercy are going to close, and then you're going to have whatever you have. And if it's not sufficient enough to please the Lord, guess what? You're going to find out the hard way. All right, so we're going to wrap it up on that note. With that being said, pray someone was edified through this lesson. And until the next time, if it be the Lord's will, stay strong, stay in the faith. We're almost home. Shalom. Peace.